Hey there, film buffs. How's it going? Straight Shooter here from Team Sound Studios. As always, welcome to another edition of How I See It. On this first week of May, I have 5 and I got 1 down. This is the second of 5. This is going to be a Red Band review. We'll have spoilers. And today I'm going to be covering Nobody. Stars Bob Odenkirk, Christopher Lloyd, Connie Nielsen, the RZA, and the director. I looked up his name, but I'm not going to try and butcher it by trying to say it because I don't know how to pronounce it by looking at his name. It's about a guy that is a family man, and he seems like, regular milquetoast. His routine is the same every day pretty much, goes to work, comes home. His marriage seems to be a bit shaky. Like, he loves his wife, he loves his kids, but there seems to be some sort of distance between them. And what ends up happening is there's a home invasion, someone comes in and demands money and stuff like that, and he basically has an opportunity to knock them out or take them out or whatever, and he doesn't. He just freezes, and he says, don't hurt anyone, just take what you want. And like, his son and his wife are kind of like, why'd you do that? His daughter too. He doesn't want to reveal too much about his past, but we find out that he used to work for a number of government agencies. He was what he called an auditor. He doesn't really explain what it means, but he says, like, I'm the last guy that people would want to see. I'm the guy that they call when things that have to get done on the down low. If you see an auditor, you're fucked. Is pretty much what it is. He's like the John Wick of his universe. And interestingly enough, it was written by one of the guys that wrote John Wick also. So he ends up tracking down the people that invaded his home. He takes back something that was his. He was about to kill them, but then he finds that they have a baby. And being a family man himself, he says, all right, I'm going to leave, whatever. But he gets on a bus, and there's this mob of people, like, causing trouble, bothering people, stuff like that, to the point where they were going to sexually assault this one girl. And he says, you know what, fuck you. And he says he has the bus driver get off the bus, and he goes on, and he kicks their asses, and it turns out that one of them is related to a mob boss in Russia. He goes to the USA. He's like, who the fuck is this guy fucking with my crew and stuff like that. He finds out about Bob Odenkirk's dad is in a nursing home played by Christopher Lloyd, and it was really good to see him. He was very different from roles that you usually see him in, especially Doc Brown. He was actually in the business too, and he has no problems taking people out just like Bob Odenkirk does. There's this big showdown at this warehouse. He kills everyone that's coming after him and stuff like that. But the fight scenes are a bit more realistic than, say, John Wick, because Keanu Reeves seems pretty, like, invincible in the movies. Like, he can get hurt, he can get bones broken, he can get stabbed, but he just keeps coming after people. Like, nothing seems to affect him. Like, he shakes it off, and after the fight is done, like, the next scene you see him in, it's like nothing happened. And nobody, like Bob Odenkirk, really does take some pretty serious hits. And you can tell that he gets hurt, and it does from time to time stop him momentarily. I think the reason why he's able to recover is because of the fact that he used to work for these government agencies, and he learned how to be tough enough to keep going even if you've been wounded or stopped momentarily, as opposed to John Wick, who none of the wounding that he gets affects him. You could basically, like, take a machete and split his skull in two, and he would keep coming after you. It didn't seem that unrealistic for Bob Odenkirk's character, even though it was a bit over the top how Christopher Lloyd is like in his 80s or 90s, and he's still able to kill people as efficiently as he was, and Bob Odenkirk was still able to do everything that he did, even after all the damage he's taken throughout the movie. But you got to take it for what it is. It's an action movie. And if you're a fan of Bob Odenkirk, which I am, I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, then you'll love this movie. His performance is top-notch, unlike you've seen him before, or at least unlike I've seen him before. Yeah, the movie was very fun. The action scenes were done really well. I'm glad I saw it. If I had any criticisms of the movie, I would say it took a while to get going, but I think it needed to show that Bob Odenkirk's character was just like a regular guy, or trying to be a regular guy. Like, he wasn't like, you know, this all-around, like, badass guy, or he didn't, like, try to present himself that way. He tried to present himself like the typical married man in the suburbs, and he lives the life of, like, you know, his regular job is he works in an office job. That's his life. You know, he wasn't trying to put out the vibe like he was this badass that could, you know, kill people at the drop of a dime, even though he was. I give the movie an A-. It was just really good. I really recommend it for fans of Bob Odenkirk, fans of action movies, revenge movies. You know, if you like the John Wick movies, you'll like this movie. Yeah, that's how I see it. So that's number 2. Stay tuned for review number 3.
I know nobody